Hello everyone, a very good afternoon to all. As you're aware, SGTech has been appointed by IMDA to run the vendor briefing sessions from May 2019. SME Go Digital program is a national program administered by IMDA together with sector agencies to support digitalization of SMEs across 23 sectors as specified in the industry transformation maps. For today's briefing, we'll be covering the pre-approval process for new and re-application vendors. We will also be covering the updated cybersecurity requirements consisting of two parts. The first part of the briefing will cover cybersecurity standards that will apply for all vendors as a preferred requirement. The second part of the briefing will touch on revised cybersecurity solution categories and requirements for cybersecurity solution providers. After that, we will introduce other programs such as CTO as a service and of course SGTech that facilitates PSG vendors in their customer engagement and business development efforts. Depending on how long the Q&A will take, we're expecting the entire session to take slightly over an hour. So first, the SME landscape. Today, SMEs constitute 99% of the local enterprises, which makes up 2/3 of the national workforce and contribute close to 50% of the GDP. What is the definition of an SME? Based on Enterprise ESG's definition, a company group annual sales turnover should not be more than 100 million, or company group employment size should not be more than 200 workers. The major concerns encountered by SMEs in their respective businesses are rising costs, especially for businesses in sectors which require rental of physical space, high turnover of staff, and that staff might not have sufficient knowledge or are not tech savvy enough to handle complex software. The whole gist of SME Go Digital program is to make going digital as simple as these 3 steps. First of all, SMEs can assess their digital readiness of their businesses from the CTO as a service platform, a one-stop web application, and refer to the industry digital plan for the different sectors. This is a step-by-step guide that helps SMEs to assess and adopt suitable digital solutions depending on the stage or readiness of their businesses. Support from the consultancy services at Digital Tech Hub has retired, and it has been succeeded by the CTO as a service. Next, IMDA will guide SMEs to take the first steps with useful industry knowledge. Then you, as a vendor, who would know what are the solutions needed and what are the new sectors to be added in. As such, your SME customers are able to adopt specially pre-approved digital solutions for the respective sectors, and best part of it, it will come with grant support. Regarding point 3, where can your SME customers get help? You can use the CTO as a service to request for digital advisory and project management services, or approach the SME centers if they require business advice. Also, just to add, Start Digital, which was launched in Jan 2019, is meant to help guide new startups on the type of digital solutions they should take on. It is in joint collaboration with IMDA, ESG, telcos, and the banks. So these 3 steps are the end-to-end process, illustrates the comprehensive resources that SMEs can reference to start their digitalization journey or take the next step to deepening their digital adoptions. We have a total of 20 IDPs for 21 ITM sectors launched to date, with the latest tourism IDP refreshed in November 2023. The Industry Digital Plan, IDP for short, is a step-by-step guide for SMEs. Within the IDP, solutions are articulated across 3 different stages of business growth. The categorization of solutions for respective stages are based on global trending and validation studies with sector agencies and industry to map out the type of solutions required by the business. This is so that SMEs are able to spot the solution which they need based on their stage of business growth. Building on the foundation established by the current IDPs, the new model will include refreshed solution suite offered under the Digital Solution Roadmap, integrated advanced solutions to improve digital connectivity and deepen SMEs' digital capabilities, a roadmap on cybersecurity and data protection measures, expansion and updating of the digital training roadmap to be aligned with the refreshed solutions under the digital roadmap and include change management. This is an example of the digital roadmap developed for the food service sector, which was refreshed in November 2022. It has taken into consideration trends observed in the sector, such as the shift in consumer behavior towards digital ordering, e-commerce, and food delivery, as well as assist F&B companies overcome challenges. Okay, so after the SMEs know what type of solution they require, they can choose from a list of pre-approved solutions from the respective sectors that they can adopt hassle-free depending on their areas of need. SME customers are then able to enjoy funding support. Pre-approved solutions are pre-scoped with software subscription, hardware, professional services, and training required for the automation of their operations. SMEs can apply for a pre-approved solution through Business Grant Portal and start the implementation with selected solution provider after the sector agency has approved the application. Currently, IMDA and sector lead agencies have identified demand from 20 sectors or subsectors, and IMDA is looking for digital solutions to meet the requirements of these sectors on the supply side. These solutions need to be proven and meet the criteria defined in the vendor self-assessment checklist. If you have a solution that corresponds to the criteria listed in the checklist, we welcome your submissions. Besides sector requirements, there are also digital capability requirements that apply to all sectors. These are digital capabilities like cybersecurity, data analytics, PDP, and IoT to ensure completeness and robustness of the proposed solution. So let's talk about the vendor onboarding process. So step 1 to step 3, vendors should self-assess their onboarding eligibility and solution eligibility before attempting to do a full submission. Do a pre-assessment of your proposed solution using the vendor self-assessment checklist to check that it fulfills the criteria that the respective sector is looking for. Always attend the vendor briefing to understand the requirements. After you have attended, then you will proceed to the checklist stage. A gentle reminder that you must submit the completed checklist within 3 months of your company's attendance at the vendor briefing. And if your solution meets all the mandatory requirements, you may submit the completed checklist with all the necessary supporting documents. Step 4 is the submission of documents stage, where you will need to tell us your solution is what IMDA is looking for. After IMDA assesses your submission, you may be invited for a tech demo session together with the sector lead, where you can demonstrate your solutions to them. Just to highlight, the lead time for step 2 to step 3 depends on the completeness of your solution, and solution will be reviewed and processed serially upon completed submission. Step 7, if your solution is shortlisted, you will be requested to submit the application form via the pre-approval system. At this stage, IMDA will then review and at the same time provide guidance on your proposed price package so as to ensure the scope of the requirements with clarity, and SME customers can adopt the solution as hassle-free as possible. As you may be aware, the PSG supports companies keen on adopting IT solutions and equipment to enhance business processes. Hence, the pricing of the package must cater to micro SMEs and SMEs for easy adoption, and the solution should be scoped according to the purchase pattern of your customers. Do also note the pricing has to be before GST. At step 8, you will know if your application is approved or rejected. Upon approval, IMDA will issue the letter of appointment for a period of 12 months. For step 9 and 10, vendor will need to accept the via the pre-approval system, and thereafter your solution will be listed on the respective government websites, and vendors may promote your solutions to your market and sell them with grant support. Note that the lead time from step 4 to step 7 is 3 months. This is an overview of the vendor self-assessment checklist. There are 3 areas that IMDA is looking for in your submission. There are 9 criteria for vendors to fulfill. These criteria will be explained in detail in the next few slides. Next, if your features of your solution has the ability to meet the sector requirements. For example, a vendor providing HRMS solution needs to adhere IRS tax policies, such as auto inclusion scheme. Accounting solutions, on the other hand, need to be listed on the IRS accounting software register prior to pre-approval. If your solution generates and sends and receives digital invoices, then it needs to be PEPL ready, which is the e-invoicing standard for solutions which create and update invoices and manage sales transactions to facilitate a seamless and faster process through adherence of a standard digital format. And lastly, your solution needs to be cloud-based, SAS model is preferred. Please make sure that your solution meets all the mandatory requirements and features prior to your submission. IMDA will also assess whether your solution aligns with the industry standards and best practices, such as does your company have a trust mark for personal data protection? Examples of solutions which collect personal unique identifiers are HRMS, workforce management systems, and visitor management systems. And for these systems that collect information such as NRIC, does the solution conduct security vulnerability assessment to ensure any security loopholes are being addressed? As a first step, you may visit this link or scan the QR code to perform the self-assessment of your onboarding eligibility. After self-assessment, if you are ineligible, please do not submit the vendor self-assessment checklist. You may read the FAQ or ask any questions during this vendor briefing to address your doubts. On the left hand of the box, you can see the results demonstrating that whether you can meet the eligibility, while on the right hand box, you will see the results demonstrating that you cannot meet the eligibility. So the purpose of this criteria is to ensure that the vendor must be capable of serving SME market in Singapore. Vendor must be financially stable. They must have a good track record with government agencies, and they must have a good quality and adequate resources to deploy projects and provide support to SMEs. The vendor solution must also be affordable to SMEs. They must have a website that showcases the product and services to SMEs. They must have a good quality solution designed for SME needs. And the solution must help SMEs achieve productivity gains. Gentle reminder that if you are unable to meet any of the 8 assessment areas, please do not proceed to submit a vendor self-assessment checklist. To meet the onboarding criteria, you can visit the IMDA ICM website and select a checklist based on where your solution best fits. Always check that you're using the latest version before submitting to IMDA. If you have downloaded a generic self-assessment checklist, you can see that there are 5 tabs. The first tab is the instructions. You should read and understand what is required of you. In the general assessment worksheet, you are required to do a self-assessment if you can fulfill the additional requirements. Take note that you have to complete the declaration on data analytics and personal data protection. If your solution captures personal data and or have data analytics components, you are required to fulfill this requirement before submitting the checklist to IMDA. Take note there are some requirements that will go live from 1st December 2024 onwards. You are strongly encouraged to embark on fulfilling these requirements before the deadline. The Solution Category Requirements tab, in the Solution Category Requirements tab, you will select a category that best fits your solution and self-assess if you can meet all the mandatory requirements. If you are unable to meet any of the mandatory requirements, please ensure that your solution can meet them before submitting the checklist to us. In the Satisfactory Survey tab, you will need to ensure that you have filled up the company UEN, company name, and solution name so that the link in the customer satisfaction survey will appear. Your customers will be brought to SG form where they will fill up their company information and rate your services. Your customers will need to log in using their SingPass to complete the survey. To verify their inputs against the submitted reference invoices you will provide as part of the approval process. You should monitor the completion of these surveys with your customers directly. Once you have 5 completed customer surveys, input 5 in the number of customer surveys completed. In the last worksheet, the overall dashboard gives you an overview of the Excel filing completion status. You should not submit if you see the red alert. Only upon seeing green sign, then you should proceed to embark on the submission. Pending the completion of your vendor self-assessment checklist, 5 customer surveys and all other documentation, you can perform the following. For new ICM vendors who do not have an account with us, you should go to CorpPass and assign the registered account SingPass holder with IMDA Media Service access rights. Gentle note, you must grant access to 2 SingPass account holders. Then you can proceed to create an account in SGD Pass. Finally, you can embark on a draft submission where there are some more questions to fill up. If you need assistance, you can download the manual to self-help. This slide shows the estimated timeline from attending the vendor briefing. Then the gentle reminder to submit your checklist within 3 months of your company's attendance. And again, to note that the lead time from step 4 to step 7 is about 3 months. So let's go through some FAQs on this. What if I have made a submission through SGTech? Do I need to fulfill the criteria? No, we will not apply the vendor onboarding and solution eligibility criteria retrospectively to cases submitted to us. Question 2, what if I'm in the midst of preparing a checklist submission and cannot complete the checklist by 1st April? Do I need to refill the checklist on 1st April? What if I have obtained and completed 5 satisfied customer surveys but cannot submit the full documentation by 1st April? Do I need to get my customers to do it via SG form? No, they will allow a 1-month grace period till 30th April for you to use the old documentation to make a new submission through the SGD Pass. What if I have obtained a few satisfied customers but cannot fulfill the documentation by 1st of April? Can I submit partial PDF and partial SG forms? No, we strongly recommend that you use one format to avoid such complexity. What should I populate in the SGD Pass field for the 5 satisfied customer field? This is the screen in SGD Pass where you will input the 5 satisfied customer information. If your customer has submitted their survey form via SG form, please upload the blank file for the field survey form. You should then proceed as per normal for the rest of the fields. When will the new checklist be available for download? From 10 April onwards. How do I check if I met the criteria of good track record with government agencies? Can I contact IMDA or any other agencies to check? Nope, you will not be able to check this. If I'm unable to get an official answer, then how can I self-evaluate myself? You should evaluate your own business practices and grade yourself accordingly. Now we'll talk about the process for contract extension. The current employment contract is valid for 1 year with the option to extend the contract for another year, subjected to IMDA and sector lead agency approval. To be eligible for a plus 1 year contract extension, vendors are required to have a minimum of 5 approved PSG applicants, which is 5 adopted recorded within the first 11 months of the existing contract period, and vendors should not have any outstanding complaints at the point of extension. Note that this criteria is subjected to change and may vary across sectors. Lastly, I would like to highlight that the maximum contract period is 2 years, and upon contract expiry, vendors are required to submit the solution for approval again, from step 1 to step 7. Note that no reminders will be provided prior to contract expiry, and vendors are advised to submit their solution for pre-approval 3 to 6 months before the contract expires. So the purpose of the contract extension criteria, vendor must possess a good track record with government agencies, vendor solution is relevant to the market and industry, and vendor must deliver good solution and service to SMEs. The cooling period refers to a 1 year duration during which a vendor who has failed to meet contract extension criteria, no unresolved customer complaints and BGP applications average review rating, or accumulated 3 or more warning letter, is required to wait before reapplying for a new contract. This period allows vendors to address any deficiencies, improve operations, and demonstrate readiness before being considered for a new contract renewal. We now move on to vendor obligations and consequences. As an appointed vendor under the SME Go Digital program, we would like to share with you some good practices to maintain during your appointment period. The key areas are to drive SME digitalization using tools like CTO as a service, adhere to the letter of appointment terms and conditions, provide excellent customer support, and build internal capabilities to ensure business continuity. Adhering to the letter of appointment terms and conditions is essential for upholding regulatory compliance, ensuring fair promotion of solutions, and maintaining program integrity. It establishes a framework for transparent and ethical business practices, safeguarding the interests of both appointed vendor and SME participating in the program. Please note that the terms and conditions and program guide are provided together with the letter of appointment, so not reading the document or not being aware of these clauses are not good reasons for breaching the clauses in the LOA. The important clauses and common pitfall was highlighted in this briefing, and with that I would like to emphasize again that vendors who fail to comply with the guide and T&Cs may result in IMDA issuing warning letters or suspension or termination. We would like to remind all vendors to stay compliant with the T&Cs of the IMDA pre-approval program. Vendors are responsible for conveying the following points. Do not offer incentives. Do not be directly involved in PSG applications and claim submission. Ensure service delivery team keeps up to customer commitments and delivers in accordance with Annex 3. Comply with advertising and marketing guidelines. And issue invoices and quotations that match with Annex 3. Please communicate the above information to the sales team, project team, current and future customer base. We'd also like to remind all vendors not to breach the IMDA T&Cs by performing impersonation. Impersonation is a serious offense that can result in termination or suspension of appointment. These are two FAQs that you may have. If my customer has given me consent to follow up on behalf, is this permissible? No, it is not permissible for vendors to follow up on behalf of their customers, even if the customer has given explicit consent. This is stated in the T&C, clause 4.1.2d. So therefore, vendors should advise their customers to follow up directly with relevant authorities or seek guidance from their superior or legal department. Where can SMEs get help if they need assistance in BGP matters? SMEs can receive help by reaching out to SME centers or contacting the relevant sector lead agencies such as Enterprise Singapore. They can visit Enterprise SG website to fill out the Contact Us form or call the hotline for assistance. Other than program rules, policies, regulations mentioned earlier, these are common pitfalls or problems that are cited from vendors. In the area of code of conduct, please respond to your customer queries in a timely manner. Sell your solutions in a fair manner. In the area of advertising, make sure you publish factual information about the PSG program. And do keep yourself updated on the changes to the PSG program to reflect accurate data on your website, EDM, or marketing collaterals. Lastly, for retrospective PSG applications, vendor and SME can commence work once the PSG application is put forth. However, SME must be aware that if BGP application fails, there is agreed recourse. In the upcoming slides, I'll be sharing on how the revised data analytics and personal data protection requirements in the vendor self-assessment checklist that you need to align your digital solutions to. Excuse me. The use of big data analytics is on the rise, and it will play a central role in business operations for years to come. The capability of business to leverage on data sets and information to make data-driven decisions will be a determining factor in the competitiveness both today and in the future. However, it's equally important for business to ensure that they have adequate security measures in place to protect the personal data in their possession and to build consumer trust and confidence. For SMEs with limited resources and lack of competency, it is challenging for them to get started on data use and protection. So to help SMEs bridge these gaps, IMDA is looking at enabled responsible use of data through pre-approved solutions to help SMEs thrive in the digital economy. Embedding data analytics and personal data protection requirements in the pre-approved solutions will benefit SMEs as they allow easy access to the dashboards, visualization features to analyze data and improve business outcome, and built-in measures to better manage personal data protection risk. This will help to enhance SMEs' digital competency and safeguard their customers' personal data. Starting from 1st December 2024, all digital solutions must comply with the revised data analytics requirements to qualify for the pre-approval SME Go Digital program. Additionally, digital solutions that collect and store personal data must also adhere to the revised personal data protection requirements. Failure to meet these requirements by the stipulated deadline may result in the delisting of standing pre-approved digital solutions. Most of the revised data analytics and personal data protection requirements should not be foreign to you, as they have been kept as preferred requirements to give a head start for some time. IMDA has also done a quick poll with the existing vendors and found that most digital solutions are able to meet the data analytics and personal protection requirements. Excuse me. Most of the digital solutions will need to meet the two data analytics requirements, except for those in 3D modeling, immersive visualization and analysis, computer-aided design and computer-aided manufacturing, digital marketing packages, document management systems. For the digital solutions with personal data, please note that there's a total of 6 requirements that you'll need to meet. This slide outlines the 6 personal data protection requirements. These requirements are not new, but they are now mandated, emphasizing the importance of integrity, key protection measures such as encryption, multi-factor authentication, and backup in digital solutions to enhance protection of personal data, enable quick recovery in the event of data breach. This shift from being preferred to being mandated signifies a heightened emphasis on data security and resilience in digital solutions. It is crucial for all digital solutions to comply with the data analytics and personal data protection requirements by 30th November 2024 to be eligible for pre-approval under the SME Go Digital team. As part of the declaration and validation process, you are required to complete an online declaration form where the necessary supporting documents prior to submitting your application to the SME Go Digital team. Refer to the steps below on what you need to do. So visit the provided link to view the list of mandatory data analytics and personal data protection requirements. Familiarize yourself with the specific requirements and guidelines outlined by IMDA. Note that your digital solution does not meet the personal data requirements if it does not collect, use, disclose, process, or dispose of personal data. Gather the necessary supporting documents such as images, screenshots, write-ups, or any other relevant material that demonstrate how your digital solution meets the requirements and submit them via the online declaration form. After submission, IMDA will review and validate your submission. They may require approximately 2 to 4 weeks to complete the review process. Once your submission has been validated, IMDA will provide an email confirmation of compliance. Upon receiving the confirmation from IMDA, attach the email confirmation in your application to the SME Go Digital team. Should you have any inquiries, please write into dataprotectionessentials@imda.gov.sg. Now I'll pass the time to Veronica from CSA, who will go through the considerations of cybersecurity for your solutions. Veronica, over to you.
Okay, hi everyone. Just give me a moment to load the slides. Okay, so this part of the presentation is about the cybersecurity part of SMEs Go Digital pre-approved solutions. There are 2 parts to this presentation. First part, target audience is vendors of all pre-approved solutions. Second part, the target audience is vendors of only the cybersecurity category of pre-approved solutions. So let me just jump into vendors of all pre-approved solutions, where we are putting in place minimum cybersecurity standards as preferred requirements. So I think for this part of the presentation, important for us to explain the motivations and the considerations. Why are we doing this? What are the minimum cybersecurity requirements and standards? And for those of you who need help in achieving and implementing this, then where can you get resources and support to help you in your journey? So firstly, why are we doing this? This is from IMDA's Digital Economy Report. Basically, I think we have, as a country, invested significantly in digital. And what this means is that companies are implementing more and more digital technologies. And as technology solution providers, actually, your business has also benefited as well and created opportunities for you. However, with digitalization, it expands the attack surface and there are also risks. So one of the key risks that we would be worried about is actually cyber supply chain attacks, where an attack happens on the vendor of the customer in order to target the customer directly. This case study was taken off a very recent PDPC report. It is basically the example of a ferry company providing ferry services between Singapore and Batam. So what happened is, firstly, in terms of their vendor arrangement, it turned out that they didn't have a contractual arrangement, but it turned out that it was a goodwill arrangement. And what happened with the vendor is that didn't have very good cybersecurity practices. They had access to the root account of the server, and later on, the customer wanted to do some website setup, so the credentials were being passed around. Apparently, in this exchange, the IT vendor was also not aware that after all this was done, the root account was still active with unchanged credentials. And eventually, what happened is that there was a compromise, and basically, this led to an excess of to the server, unauthorized access to the server, and personal data of more than 100,000 individuals basically was exfiltrated. So I think this is one classic example of a customer who engaged a vendor. Vendor didn't have very good cybersecurity practices, and therefore the customer had to deal with the impact and the aftermath of this. So now actually vendors are increasingly becoming attractive targets, and it is quite normal to think of them as potentially a weak supplier that a threat actor can want to target if they want to reach a big company. So in this example, this is a case of a MoveIt software, which is a file transfer tool made by a company in the US. And this tool is actually quite popular in the US to to transfer sensitive files securely. However, what happened was that the web-facing application was infected with a web shell, and basically this was then used as a gateway to cause stolen data. So I think in terms of the customers of this specific piece of software, there were many big customers, and some of the names here are listed, the likes of BBC, British Airways, and Ernst & Young, and so on. So this is a classic example of how a threat actor wanting to target a large organization who typically has a good cybersecurity profile may not do it directly, but do it indirectly through an exploit in the vendor. And in this case, it becomes a lot more scalable, because if one vendor has an exploit, then they are able to actually target the X number of customers that are actually using this software. And this is the reason why we are concerned about the cybersecurity posture of ICT companies in particular. Now, Singapore is very digital. So the question is actually from a cybersecurity perspective, how vulnerable are we? CSA did a survey. Actually, over 8 in 10 encounter a cybersecurity incident in a year. And this is not a lone incident. It actually happened for about 50% of them several times a year. This is the national average. We also have the ICC breakdown, which we didn't publish, but in the ICC breakdown, we saw that actually the numbers are even higher, close to 10 percentage points higher. So I think ICT vendors, you would realize that you can be an attractive target for the reasons I explained before that. One of the major outcomes of being vulnerable to cybersecurity attacks and having it happen to you is obviously business disruption, data loss, and very importantly is reputation damage. So as an ICT vendor and you fall into an incident like this, what would your customers feel? Would they be concerned? Therefore, we think that it's not just about government putting in a requirement to make your lives difficult, but it really is in your business interest to demonstrate good cybersecurity posture, because as such incidents happen more and more, your customers will be quite familiar with it and they will start asking. So it is good to actually take that proactive step in order to gain that customer trust and show that you have put in place good cybersecurity measures. So now the key question is, what exactly do you need to put in place? What I'm showing here is a slides of national cybersecurity standards that CSA has developed for organizations, cyber trust and cyber essentials. Now, ideally for us, cyber trust is the way to go, taking a risk-based approach, because there is actually no practical way to list a set of requirements, because all companies are different and they have a different cybersecurity posture. So with cyber trust, there is a guided risk-based approach to help companies to determine where they need to be and basically then meet a certain set of requirements accordingly. However, doing cyber trust and doing risk assessment is difficult for many companies, for many SMEs, and we also acknowledge that many of the vendors in the SMEs Go Digital program are themselves also SMEs. So because of that, what we have identified that is suited would be cyber essentials, Basically, if you look at the way we organize the logos of Cyber Trust and Cyber Essentials versus the tier and profile organizations, Cyber Essentials is designed to be suited for small organizations who are still starting their cybersecurity journey. So even if they're still starting out, it will not be too difficult for you to move. So what is Cyber Essentials, Mark? Briefly, I think there are 5 major categories that we have outlined here. Assets, taking stock of the assets like people, hardware and software, and data. Secure and protect, which would include areas like virus malware protection, access control, and secure configuration. Then other aspects like update as well as backup. And finally, preparing your incident response plan, because in this day and age, unfortunately, a cybersecurity incident is not a matter of if, but when. So Cyber Essentials Mark is fairly basic. It doesn't protect you against everything because it is basic, but it does provide you from protection from common attacks. And this is a certification that is valid for 2 years. So we have appointed we have appointed certification bodies that will be able to come down and do the assessment. This is basically done in a single stage documentary based assessment. So for some of you who may be thinking that actually you may need help with implementing even the basic cyber hygiene in Cyber Essentials, these are a list of resources that you can look at and help yourself with. So it's both categories of self-help as well as outsourcing. So firstly, in terms of documents and resources, CSA has released cybersecurity toolkits. So some of them are targeted at business leaders and SME owners, largely to inform of the why and written in business language. One part of Cyber Essentials requires cyber awareness of employees. And the Employees Toolkit is something that you can use as a resource to help you to meet that specific requirement in Cyber Essentials. Finally, there are other aspects of Cyber Essentials where you may need to do things like asset inventory management, data inventory management, in which case then you may need templates. And the third toolkit that I'm listing here would have some of these templates as a base to help you to get started and customize for your organizational needs. So those are toolkits. We also have a cybersecurity health check online, generally hosted and developed in partnership with IMDA. So basically, this is a summarized version of the Cyber Essentials questionnaire. So if you go to the website and basically click on the various measures, it will give you a very high-level score that tells you, oh, maybe you're a cyber explorer, or maybe you're actually reaching a certain standard already. So use this to get a rough gauge of where you are. And when you're more ready, you can go to the Cyber Essentials self-assessment spreadsheet. This is a longer list, basically still on the same set of measures, but a longer list. And this is also the marking scheme that is used by the certification body. So if you were to go through the self-assessment spreadsheet, you may find that some areas are green, you have passed them. Some areas are orange because you have failed them. When you have cleared through all the orange bits and you have passed everything, this is when you are ready to approach the certification body. Now, for many of you, if you happen to be SMEs and you find that this is too troublesome, you may want to consider getting help from outsourced provider. And this is where CSA has the CISO as a service scheme. These are cybersecurity consultants that we have curated and onboarded into our program. The scope of work is basically around Cyber Essentials, all the consultancy aspects and the services aspects, and they will help you with your process and your people measures for Cyber Essentials Mark. They will run through basically the self-assessment checklist before and after that service to see where the gaps are and help you to close the gaps so that you will eventually be ready for Cyber Essentials certification. And for SMEs, eligible SMEs, up to 70% funding support is available to help you when you engage their services. So now, what are the steps to take if you want to go for Cyber Essentials certification? For a start, the previous slide, take a look at the self-help resources to see what are some of the things that you may need help with. Then ask yourself whether you intend to manage this exercise in-house or you want to outsource. So if you happen to want to manage this in-house, first thing is to determine the scope of the certification. And minimally, this should include the functions that support the pre-approved solution in SMEs Go Digital. So for example, if your solution is a digital marketing solution, then the business functions that are associated with the provision of the digital marketing solution should then be within the scope of certification. Next, then fill in the Cyber Essentials spreadsheet, which is the example I gave in the previous slide. And like I said, the spreadsheet will give you green areas that you have passed, orange areas that you have not met. So you would go through and review and make sure that you're able to pass all the items before you're ready for certification. If all of this sounds too much trouble for you, then we may suggest that you want to consider looking at one of the appointed CISO as a service providers to help you in your journey. And when you're ready, you will be able to appoint the certification body who will then do the audit in order to issue you the certification after you have passed everything. So what are some of the examples that have actually gone through this journey and successfully achieved at least Cyber Essentials mark? We have a fuller directory listing on our website, but we just wanted to pull out a few just to give you a sense of the providers that have successfully achieved at least Cyber Essentials mark, and some of them have even gone on to achieve Cyber Trust mark. Then these are then the customers or end user enterprise that have successfully achieved at least Cyber Essentials mark. And the fact that these are your customers, potentially as customers, having been a bit more aware about cybersecurity, they will also ask questions like, oh, have you met a certain minimum posture? Actually, as your customer, I've already met it, and how come the providers are not taking steps in that direction? So this is also the reasons why we think it's useful to be able to proactively equip our solution providers to be ready when customers ask questions like this. So I think in summary, the SG CyberSafe program provides a guided approach to help organizations in the cybersecurity journey. Many of the resources I talked about in my previous slide, you can refer to csa.gov.sg/SG-CyberSafe. This will be the linking page that will link you to all the various resources I covered earlier. So I've finished with the first part of my presentation, which is applicable to all pre-approved solution vendors. Now this section is only for those who are interested in the cybersecurity part of the pre-approved solution category. So for what I covered earlier, it applies to everybody, including you guys, meeting minimum cybersecurity standards. But the fact that you guys are solution providers of cybersecurity pre-approved solutions, we do expect that cybersecurity is in your DNA, and therefore Cyber Essentials mark is not going to be a barrier and challenge for you. So this part of the presentation, I'll talk about the reorganization of the categories for alignment to Cyber Essentials. Basically, why are we doing this, and literally what are the categories? So why are we doing this? Actually, cybersecurity can be hard for many SMEs who are obviously very focused on their bread and butter. Cybersecurity basically also has to take care holistically of people, process, and technology. So for the people and the process part, basically that's where we have CISO as a service, which I explained earlier, consultancy services so that they can help customers with all the process and people measures. For technology solution, one part of cybersecurity is that you probably need to buy cybersecurity solutions, and this is where SMEs Go Digital come in. So what we want to do is, for CISO as a service, already fully aligned to and designed with Cyber Essentials in mind. Now, what we need to do next is actually to align the categories in SMEs Go Digital to make it match with Cyber Essentials, so that for SMEs who are actually trying to implement Cyber Essentials, it is easy for them. They don't have to do their own mapping and try to figure out which solution actually is actually helping them with which measure in Cyber Essentials. So maybe on this slide here, I would like to explain two things. Number one is the categories of solutions, and secondly, how they are derived. So let me start with the categories of solutions here. And you'll see that at the top of the row, there are two columns, integrated package versus standalone package. Integrated package means that what we have done is look at all the measures in Cyber Essentials, the parts where solutions are applicable, and try to put them together into an integrated package from a single vendor. So this way, this is targeted at SMEs that may not have implemented many cybersecurity solutions. So when they buy, rather than they go and own self-assemble a set of packages, if there is something that is integrated with maybe most of the categories in, then it will make it simpler for them. However, not all SMEs like that. By and large, some SMEs may already have implemented something in bits and pieces, but not everything. And that's where the standalone solution comes in. So they address only a specific subcategory in Cyber Essentials. So if you really have one part of what you need, you don't need to throw away what you already have. Your customers can just buy from the specific subcategories. So the next part of my explanation will go into the blue rows in this slide, which is basically all the measures that align to Cyber Essentials mark. So I'll outline the thinking as to why is it that in some cases there is a category for it, and why is it that in some cases there is no category for it. So firstly, when we looked at all the subcategories in Cyber Essentials, one thing is that not all of them can be met with a technical solution. Earlier on, I said that cybersecurity is people, process, technology. So there's certain parts where buying a solution may not necessarily be helping you to meet the measure in cyber essentials. And these are the two parts that I have outlined here: the people awareness measure, as well as the incident response measure, where it is coming up with an incident response plan. So this part will not have solutions tagged to it, because these are largely met by process measures. What is clearly meetable by technology solutions is outlined here in the secure, protect, virus, malware protection space. And then for everything else, there are actually a list of clauses inside all of these subcategories. And in combination, some of them are met by process measures, some by technical solutions. In some cases, because the company is small, it may not make sense for them to invest in a solution to do things. And maybe it could be a process measure that could be easier for them at the start to keep the cost low. So this sort of explains the broader considerations, how we landed with the various categories. And the next slides, I'll then show the categories. So firstly, this is the integrated package. We've done a fair amount of discussion with some of the major solution product providers in order to confirm this. So in the integrated package, the roles that you see that are in green, this will be virus malware protection, firewall, as well as backup. These three will be put together, and this will form the integrated package. So if you want to have a solution submitted to actually match this integrated package, you minimally need the three parts in green by a single vendor. We've looked at some vendor solutions. Some of them actually have additional features, but not all of them. Things like data or IT asset management, data loss prevention. So if you are proposing a product that actually has some of these additional features outlined in yellow, capabilities in yellow, you may also put it in as a preferred requirement, but what's mandatory is really the parts that are outlined in green. So that's the integrated package from a single vendor. The next three are basically the standalone packages. So the first standalone package would be, well, virus malware protection that squarely maps into the virus malware protection within Secure Protect. I think this is quite self-explanatory. The next one is firewall. This will extend to both network perimeter firewalls as well as host-based firewalls. So the firewall part of the solution also maps into the virus malware protection section within Secure Protect. The third standalone package is basically backup, where you help companies with backing up their essential data and having a copy stored offline or isolated away from the operating environment. So basically, in summary, if we were to reorganize all this, you would see that the integrated package would combine some parts of the Secure Protect as well as the backup requirements to be forming the package. Then the virus malware protection, firewall, and backup, respectively, these are the mappings to the various parts of cyber essentials. So I think with that, I have come to the end of my part of the presentation. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Veronica. Now I would like to, I'd like to hand over the time to my colleague, Pauline, who will do a brief introduction to CTO as a service. Pauline, over to you.
IMDA has developed a one-stop platform, a web application for SMEs to have quick access to various digitalization resources. SMEs can self-assess their digital readiness and receive a list of recommended solutions based on their business profiles. They can also search and compare the functions of pre-approved digital solutions and contact the vendors via this platform. In addition, CTO as a service connects SMEs to a shared pool of consultants for digital consultancy and project management services. IMDA have appointed Accenture and Stone Forest to provide such services. SMEs can engage the digital consultants for guidance to better understand their business needs and priorities. Based on an in-depth needs analysis, the consultant will tailor digital solutions and training roadmaps for the company, which also reference the industry digital plans available for the various sectors. The consultants would help SMEs manage the project implementation, which will take in consideration the impact on key stakeholders, such as employees, customers, suppliers, and more. Eligible SMEs can enjoy free digital consultancy and project management services. You might ask, what are the benefits of this platform to approved solution vendors and the SMEs? For potential partners like yourself, upon approval by IMDA, your solutions will be more easily discovered and searched by SME end users on the platform. With platform enhancements currently underway, SME end users will soon be able to find ratings and read the reviews of the solutions available. This will instill confidence and trust in your solution. To SME end users, CTO as a service is a one-stop platform to address most of their digitalization needs, helping them make informed decisions faster. Here's a recap of the key features of CTO as a service. Please scan the QR code to access the platform and check out the various features after this session. Next, I would like to introduce Mr. Dutch Ng, who is part of our SMEs Go Digital Advisory Committee in SGTech. He will elaborate on how SGTech can help you and the industry on this program. Dutch, over to you.
Hi. Hi, good afternoon. I think it's great to see everyone doing well and good today. My name is Dutch, part of the SGTech SME Go Digital Committee's members. To our old friend or existing member of SGTech, it's nice to have you with us again. To our new friends or unfamiliar with SGTech does, let me give you a brief introduction. SGTech is a premium trade association for tech industry in Singapore. We have over 1,000 corporate members ranging from innovative startups, vibrant small and medium-sized enterprises to top MNCs, whom we are representing and articulating any technology industry concern to relevant authority and stakeholder. SGTech strives to create an ecosystem that anticipates trends and develop sustainable initiatives to strengthen the community and help the ICT industry to grow. And we mission to catalyze a thriving ecosystem that powers Singapore as a global tech powerhouse. SGTech strategy comes with two-pronged thrust. We position Singapore as a pivotal global digital and data hub, emphasizing the foundation of trust. Second, we are dedicated to take part in collective action, contributing to solutions that address both Singaporean and global sustainability challenges. By supporting these two key strategic initiatives, we are permitting all our business endeavor in our commitment to cultivate and leveraging talent in the technology sector. Briefly, I would like to share with you the organization structure of SGTech. We have the Board of Governance and Council member, but not in this slide, which overseeing the alignment of all the chapters and committees. At the top, we have the steering committees encompass of sustainability and tech talent. Next, we have various chapters and committees, a total of 8 chapters, 2 committees for your interest to join us, and 5 advisory committees. I will elaborate further on this in my next few slides. To coordinate the need of the subsector within the ICT space, we have formed industry chapters and committees to support strategic and emerging sector. We have classified our chapters into tech verticals and non-tech horizontal. Under the tech verticals, we have AI high-performance committee chapter to demystify or simplify the understanding of AI for businesses, increase adoption, and create awareness on data ethics, governance of AIs and opportunities. Cloud and data chapters to help businesses in understanding the journey of embarking onto cloud, driving adoption by leveraging technology to build a more robust business model and open up new opportunities. Cybersecurity chapter to promote the awareness and adoption of cybersecurity in Singapore as we boost up talent pipeline for the viability of Singapore's cybersecurity industry. As such, let's touch base a little bit on what the CSA Veronica have just shared, right? We have growing opportunity for tech solutions provider due to the rising tech adoption. We must ensure that we are not the weakest link, which could cause massive impact as seen in real cases. Cyber actors are everywhere. Over 8 in 10 organizations in Singapore experience such cases. As a tech supplier, your client may face business disruption, data losses, and damage to your company reputation. Therefore, we need to take serious measures to enhance our cybersecurity posture as a solution provider. There are free resources available, such as cybersecurity toolkits, health check, and self-assessment tool I use a lot to aid our needs. If you lack talent in this area, you can engage our CISO as a service program, which come up to 70% of support funding. If you wish to engage more SGTech for further support and information, please do enroll us as a member and join the cybersecurity chapter team for more exchange. As I continue for the non-tech horizontal, we have a digital transformation chapter aimed to speed up innovation to drive the success of digital transformation of Singapore businesses. Singapore Enterprise chapter that we promote and build active and healthy ecosystem of the local tech SME is vital for Singapore digital transformation, creating favorable conditions to allow tech SME to flourish and venture overseas by leveraging on the strength of the consortium. Smart Nation chapter, we engage with Smart Nation Digital Government Office and their stakeholder, take part in key agency in built environment to bridge local solution provider to overseas market, exporting local ideas and solutions that in turn to spur innovation in their solution. In fact, that we have two newly formed chapters from last year as a committees, and they formed a chapter for last year, and they are the digital trust and data center. As data center, we promote greater efficiency within Singapore data center industry, and also essential element as eco-friendly digital infrastructure that needed to sustain the continual growth of digital of the nation. Digital trust chapter, we foster novel digital trust industry serving as a catalyst for enhanced collaboration between the companies and nation, which the aim of positioning Singapore tech sector at the forefront leader in digital trust technology. As companies that join SGTech as a member can choose which chapter they prefer to be involved. Each chapter will plan activities, initiative to engage each chapter member and the industry. So quickly, SGTech also spin-off committees that cater for emerging industry need. For example, we have Data Protection Advisory Committee, a Digital and Trust Center of Excellence Committee, Next Generation of Network Committee, Government Procurement Advisory Committee, and this is part of SMEs Go Digital Advisory Committee. Sorry. Can you see? Okay, right? What are the key benefits as part of SGTech, right? A seat is our committee to voice actively taking part into advocacy effort. A gateway, this platform is to engage in two-way exchange with other leaders, fostering a collaboration environment to shape the next significant advancement in digital transformation. Also a springboard that's to create lasting and impactful results for your business, both domestically and internationally. A committee at the forefront of spearheading the adoption of technology. As mentioned, we have more than 1,000 plus company members in SGTech, ranges between MNC, large local enterprises, small SMEs, providing a full range of tech spectrum to influence as a voice, providing insight as a domain sharing for each other. As mentioned, I want to share a little bit on this of tech partner, because we receive a lot of good feedback from vendor that appreciate of establishing this business and technology partnership that can help to expand their offering and customer base. So with tech partner, here are the things that we can achieve. First, technology partnership. This refers to identify a partner whose solution can match and complement yours to cater for a client project. As next, we have this reseller or distribution partnership. you can also find a partner who can distribute your solution, or you can find new solution to expand your portfolio. Another possible outcome is the strategic partnership, meaning that forming strategic alliance in new product development or for any market expansion. As this list is not exhaustive, and we may also request for other form of partnership that you add value to your business, do talk with us or our secretary later if you find more info on that. We also actively post information on medias on our newly launched website. Do follow us on social media or get any latest update, events, news, research, information, and trends. I'll stay here for a few seconds for your capture. Okay, here comes the last slide. Do accept our application, and we thank you, our partners, IMDA, SGT, Singapore Digital, for supporting this webinar. I hope that you can find this information helpful for your organization, and I wish to have your fruitful webinar ahead. Thank you.